Pope Francis says the EU risks dying. The pontiff called for greater European solidarity as an antidote to modern forms of populism. Francis Le Pen says the EU will die and globalists to be defeated. Mcain, the New World Order is under enormous strain. Francis Holland says fight against populism. Nationalism is his final mission. Yet, the China vice premier sees unstoppable momentum of globalization. And, of course, Apple CEO Tim Cook argues for globalization. The European Union risks dying without a new vision, Pope Francis has warned. The pontiff was speaking in Rome at an EU summit to highlight the 60th anniversary of the bloc's foundation. In an address to European leaders on Friday, the Pope said the EU faced a vacuum of values and was losing its sense of direction. When a body loses its sense of direction and is no longer able to look ahead, it experiences a regression, and in the long run risks dying, he said. Prime ministers and presidents from 27 EU member states have descended on Italy to mark the 1957 founding Treaty of Rome, receiving a papal blessing on the eve of the anniversary. Celebrations of the event have been muted by uneasiness in the Union due to prolonged economic crisis, the unresolved migrant situation in many countries, and Britain's referendum to leave the bloc. Prime Minister Theresa May did not attend the meeting. The Pope warned that the boom in anti-EU parties across Europe could herald a growing split between citizens and their respective representative institutions. He also said greater international solidarity was the most effective antidote to modern forms of populism. And Francis Le Pen says the EU will die and globalists to be defeated. The European Union will disappear, French presidential candidate Marine Le Pen told the rally on Sunday, promising to shield France from globalization as she sought to fire up her supporters in the final 4 weeks before voting gets underway. Buoyed by unexpected election of Donald Trump in the United States and by Britain's vote to leave the EU, the leader of the Eurosceptic and anti-immigrant National Front Party told the rally in Lille that the French election would be the next step in what she called a global rebellion of the people. The European Union will die because the people do not want it anymore. Arrogant and hegemonic empires are destined to perish, Le Pen said to loud cheers and applause. The time has come to defeat globalists, she said, accusing her main rivals, centrist Emmanuel Macron and conservative Francois Fillon, of treason for their pro-EU, pro-market policies. Opinion polls forecast that Le Pen will do well in the April 23rd first round of the presidential election, only to lose the May 7th runoff to Macron. So we will see how that happens. And Mcain, the New World Order, is under enormous strain. It was a bumper day for John McCain when on Friday Donald Trump's Republican nemesis gloated as Trump's art of the deal collapsed in the last minute. After the president and Ryan-led effort to repeal Obamacare suffered what appears to be a terminal setback, in the wake of Trump's misfortune, McCain renewed his calls on Friday for a return to a legacy neocon status quo. When speaking at the Brussels Forum, he said that the world cries out for American and European leadership through the EU and NATO, and said that the EU and the US need to develop more cooperation, more connectivity. In a new world order under enormous strain, in the titanic struggle with the forces of radicalism, we can't stand by and lament. We've got to be involved, said McCain, who's now chairman of the Armed Services Committee. I trust the EU, he said, defending an opposite view from that of US President Trump, who said in January the UK was so smart in getting out of the EU and NATO was obsolete. He said the EU is one of the most important alliances for the US, and the EU and NATO were the best two sums in history, which have maintained peace for 70 years. Further attacking Trump's global worldview, McCain said that we need to rely on NATO and have a NATO that adjusts to new challenges. And Francois Hollande, French president, said Monday the final mission of his term would be to ensure that populism, nationalism, extremism, radicalism, that's anybody that doesn't follow the liberal worldview is now an extremist radical in the world, and especially not in France. Hollande's term ends in mid-May, and Marine Le Pen is seen as one of the leading candidates to replace him. In addition, Britain has voted to leave the EU, and the United States has elected Trump. I still have to work to prevent populism, nationalism, and extremism from prevailing, including my own country, he told the Singapore conference. So, yeah. Holland said the mission to reject populism was not just for one president. Citizens and officials had responsibility to speak. Maybe this is coming because their people are sick of it. This is a natural outcropping of globalism and people being bureaucratic tyrants in the EU, telling people what they can and can't do and not having the control over their borders and everything else. You know, maybe this is a natural way that people are rebelling. And China Vice Premier sees unstoppable momentum of globalization. And Apple CEO Tim Cook argues for more globalization. Well, of course he is. Any setup that allows your company to extract slave labor wages out of people and make obscene profits so you can hoard more cash, of course you're going to be for it. Meanwhile, the people that work at your plants and Foxconn in China have suicide nets all around the building because people go out at lunchtime and commit suicide. So if your company's so awesome and you treat your people so well, why would people be doing that? That's just one thing. So of course these big global corporations over globalization, because they can go and restructure their labor in countries that don't have laws and have cheaper, they don't have to pay benefits, they don't have to pay minimum wage, they don't have to pay all this stuff, paid vacation. So of course these people are for exploiting loopholes in the global developing countries. Anyways, everyone, just thought I'd share this with you guys. A few articles here the last few days, pretty interesting. We're up for some elections here, Germany and France. The Netherlands one didn't turn out as well as people had hoped with the Geert Wilders guy. But there's still one in Italy with that 5-star movement, and the French one's coming up. So we shall see. It should be an interesting year. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and share your thoughts. Take care. God bless. Have a great week. Bye.